stories endure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we're committed to preserving the voices that shape our community. We know people have short memories, and as long as this Black Talk radio station is on the air, we will not let Altadena be forgotten. We are honored to announce that the Altadena Historical Society will officially archive our recent town hall alongside every episode of Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. This is the show of record, the definitive source for tracking Altadena's roots, resilience, recovery, and reunion. These stories will now live on for students, scholars, researchers, and journalists seeking truth and legacy in the months and years to come. Because history isn't just made, it's honored, it's recorded, and it's passed forward. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Protesting anthems, yes, we chanting a movement of people. It's like we dancing to the ministry of, it's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the point where the prisons is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify with you and God in time, my best align.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and you can find me on Spill. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Threads. You can find me everywhere at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. And there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, make sure that you subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast powered by KBLA. Powered by KBLA, the only Black-owned and operated talk station west of the Mississippi. That way, you'll never miss an episode. You'll carry us with you everywhere you go. All right? Now, it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, the Trump Justice Department is to end oversight of local police abuse. At least the local police accused of abuse. New York Times reporting that the Trump administration today backed away from federal efforts to investigate or oversee nearly 24 police departments accused of civil rights violations, abandoning an effort designed to reform local law enforcement agencies in the wake of high-profile police killings. Now, this week is the anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. You think it's a coincidence that they make this announcement today? I don't think it's a coincidence. Officials said that they plan to drop agreements reached after incidents of police violence against Black people in Minneapolis and Louisville, and will close civil rights investigations onto departments like Memphis, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, Trenton, New Jersey, and Mount Vernon, New York, as well as a case against the Louisiana State Police. They're also reviewing the federal oversight arrangement already in place with about a dozen other cities to determine if they should abandon those as well. Police departments in Baltimore, and Cleveland, Newark, and Ferguson are among those that remain under some form of federal oversight following Justice Department investigations into civil rights abuses. The administration's announcement, again, came out not 1, not 2, 4 days. 4 days before the 5th anniversary of the death of George Floyd. 46-year-old black man killed in Minneapolis by police officers. His murder, of course, was caught on video and inspired national outrage and worldwide protests against police violence targeting black people. And in other news, HIV testing and outreach falter as Trump funding cuts sweep the South. A lot of us sort of saw this coming. And this may not even be the worst of it. The Atlanta Voice is reporting that the directors of a whole bunch of community-based groups in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Tennessee told sources that they too had reduced their spending on HIV testing and outreach because of delayed or slashed federal funds, or that they were making plans to do so, anticipating cuts to come. Scaling back these efforts could prove tragic without an extra boost of support to get tested or to stay on treatment. Many people living with HIV will grow sicker, and they stand a greater chance of infecting others. Look, we're all in this together. When people have access to life-saving medications, to life-saving therapies, right, and they stay on their meds, right, guess what? That helps to lower their viral load. And so the chance of them being able to spread the virus to somebody else, it lessens dramatically when folks are able to keep their viral loads down. And so when you make access to care more difficult, people stand the risk of being sicker, of getting sicker. President Trump, in his first term, he promised to end America's HIV epidemic, and he put the resources of the federal government behind that effort. This time, he's deployed the powers of his office to gut funding, abandoning those communities at highest risk. Trump's earlier efforts targeted 7 southern states, including Mississippi, where funds went to community groups and health departments that tailor interventions to historically underserved communities, communities that face discrimination and have less access to quality education, to healthcare, to stable income and generational wealth. Such factors help explain why Black people accounted for 38% of HIV diagnosis in the United States in 2023, despite representing only 14% of the population, and also why half the country's new HIV infections occur in the South. You think cuts to Medicaid are going to help or hurt the problem? Anybody who said hurt the problem, I think you're right. Moving along, Wes Moore, the nation's lone Black governor, has vetoed a bill to study reparations. A lot of people are not too happy about this. This actually came up over brunch on Sunday. And now the Washington Post is reporting that Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who vetoed a bill that would have required the state to define the economic harms to Black descendants of enslaved people and recommend remedies, he dealt a blow to reparations supporters who counted on the only Black governor of a U.S. state to be an ally. The veto of a reparations study, this ain't even reparations, it's a reparations study, was the highest profile of 24 vetoes that Governor Moore issued late Friday. The most the governor and rising Democratic star has fought back against in the democratically controlled legislature during his 2.5 years in office. And so Governor Moore, he said, given the state's economic problems, he was focused on laws that help the state recover from the severe impacts of the Trump administration's federal spending cuts. That's his story. And I'm sure we'll get even more of this story in the near future. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. But when we come forward, I'm really looking forward to a conversation with a real life urban beekeeper. Have you ever met an urban beekeeper? I've never met an urban beekeeper. but I am so excited to meet this urban beekeeper. And I have a hunch that she might even be wearing yellow for those of you that are streaming us on the YouTube. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Dior Lux Queen when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast. Oh my God. But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Took the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you. Love you.
The coolest summer starts at Target with up to 50% off select Sun Squad pool and outdoor toys and 20% off select favorite day treats with Target Circle. Discover inflatable pools and outdoor toys that'll surely make a big splash this season, while you keep it cool and sweet with the most shareable cookies and frozen snacks under the sun. Hurry! Now through Memorial Day, save up to 50% on select Sun Squad toys and 20% on select favorite day treats with Target Circle, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Are you facing an unexpected financial emergency? You need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com could help you get up to $3,000 fast. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go to the name you trust, WeFixMoney.com. If you need emergency cash up to $3,000 for bills or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. That's WeFixMoney.com.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm so glad we get to change gears. It's been quite a day at the White House, and I really love being able to stretch out the second hour with leaders on the front lines that are shaping our culture, that are making a way out of no way. And in that spirit, we are talking to one of them, Dior Lux Queen, Honey Bee. She is the visionary CEO of Truth Honey. Mm-hmm. Truth Honey. It's an award-winning luxury honey brand. Who knew that there were luxury honey brands? But, you know, we're all going to learn something this hour. They've been recognized by Forbes magazine for their signature flavors and elegant glass packaging. And she's the first urban woman beekeeper to be featured on the Weather Channel. And she's carving a bold path in beekeeping and the agribusiness industries. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I mean, I am just so impressed by you.
No, I'm impressed by you.
So you got to tell us. I mean, first of all, who knew that there was such a thing as a luxury honey brand? I'm ashamed to show you the kind of honey that I've been using in my house.
Let's see. What does it look like, Dr. Nee? Tell me now.
I'm gonna show you after the break. I'm gonna show you
Okay.
after the break. I'm scared to, but I'm gonna show you after the break. I thought I was doing good. I was at the Whole Foods, and I said, okay, I'm really winning. But by the end of this hour, I'm gonna find out not so much. But talk to us about what inspired you to get in the agri business. What inspired you to become, an urban woman beekeeper?
So when we started, we already had our farm, right? And so we would grow our own vegetables. And so my brother at that time, he was just like, we need to do bees, right? We were already giving food to the communities because it is so much more healthier when you grow your own vegetables. And the pesticides, the chemicals, I mean, that was critical, right? And so my brother was like, we should do honey. And I was like, who's gonna get out there with no bees? Right. And so
All right, sis. That's real talk. That's real talk right there.
Right. And so my god brother, Tyree at that time, so he was younger. He was like, oh, I want to do bees. He wanted to be in the zoology world, so that was great. So he says, sister, I'm getting ready to go off to college, and I'm like, who's gonna do these bees? And so, but I thought about it, right? And I was just like, so there's not a lot of urban beekeepers. Our community just don't know the benefits of honey. So I had to do my research. I had to find out what was in the grocery stores, what was all over, and all of that I didn't want to do. So a lot of times people think, oh, the honey got to be organic, it got to be all of this. Ours is pure and natural. And the reason why I say pure and natural is because here in Georgia, like we don't have organic grounds, right? So it's pure and natural. Those type of things are when we grow our vegetables, we are growing turmeric and ginger and peppers and all the things that we are going to talk about once we get to the honey, right? And so one day I was prepping for going into a large luxury gift store. And so I had a really bad car accident. I collided on this side of the embankment and airborne into a tree. Woo! Listen, I was just like, what is happening? You see the bright light and you're like, it's not my time yet.
Oh, Lord.
Right. And so but mind you, all of the honey that I've been doing. So when I say I don't want to do the honey that's in the grocery store, we use glass bottles. Glass is so much better than plastic because plastic has a bacteria in it and it's called leaching and it gets into you. So a lot of times when people have honey, right? What are we going to do? We're going to go put that bottle inside the microwave because it crystallized. Doctor, is that what you do?
I do not put it. I do not put it in the microwave. I do not put it in the microwave. But I do have I have most of my honey is in the plastic container. I do have some honey, fancy honey, I call it, that's in little jars, right? And so you've already taught me something that if you're going to purchase honey, get it out of a glass jar or container, not the plastic.
Because if it crystallizes, you can sit it on your stove in warm water and it'll return back to its normal state. And so what I found was through that accident, right? All the honey that we've been doing, I've been giving it to people. It's been aiding in, healing their bodies. And of course, turmeric helps with nerve pain and inflammation and all of those things, right? And then, of course, when you do your cayenne, it opens up your arteries so it can, all the things that you put in there are starting to flow. Cinnamon is good for blood pressure and all those different things. And so, as I'm giving these different types of honey and wellness drinks to individuals, even my good friend Monica Kaufman Pearson, she was just like, Dior, this honey is helping me. It's helping my inflammation and nerve pain. Now, mind you, I'm in pain, right? And I'm sitting here and the doctor is prescribing me so many different medications and my body is rejecting it. And I'm sitting here like, okay, wait a minute. What am I going to do to heal myself? As I'm sitting here at this table with my product, I'm going to show you.
Whoa! Wait a minute! No! Bring it back! Look, I have never seen a fancier bottle of honey in my entire life. What?
So listen. So this is called Rejuvenate, and let me tell you why. Right? It rejuvenates your entire body. Because of the components that is in the honey, right? And that's what I use to rejuvenate my body back to health by using pure natural things. Of course, with the our wellness drinks and all of that. And so this is called the Rejuvenate, right? It has cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, lemon, and cayenne. And of course,
I mean, let me just say, for every show, I get a little homework packet and I study up on everybody I talk to, and so I have a sense of what people might say. You are blowing my mind. you are blowing my mind. First of all, what a beautiful product that you have created.
Thank you.
And you ever have a conversation with somebody and the conversation leads you to a next level of understanding. Like, I've grown up enjoying honey and oatmeal and in tea and all sorts of things over the years, but you have inspired me to kick my honey game up.
I'm glad, because that was my goal. My goal was to change the way that consumers view and purchase honey, especially in our community, especially in our young generation. So another thing that we did, we got into our community, into the schools, and talk about agriculture and sustainability, right? Because again, you don't see any now you see Black farmers, but you don't see any Black women too many. They're starting to now populate and come out, and be that. But we wanted to let them know, because again, if you get a scar, you can put that honey on your scar and it heals it. You can put honey in your hair, help it to grow it. It stimulates your follicles. I mean, there's so many different things.
Are you telling me I can put honey in my beard to stimulate my beard growth?
So let me tell you,
I ain't got to worry about no ants coming at me while I'm asleep.
Wait, so I have a beard honey oil, right? And it goes into your beard and it just brings your, oh my God, yes. So I have to get you some of that. And
wait a minute, everybody. I thought I had heard everything about honey until she just blew my mind again. You're telling me on air, live right now in afternoon drive time, that there is such a thing as beard honey oil?
Yes. So let me tell you, everything that I do is all things honey, right? But I take the herbs of the earth and I put it into our honey, and that's what makes it even better than just a regular, bottle of honey. And so that's how we created this luxury brand of honey, an elegant brand.
I mean, mind blown. I mean, whoever is listening to us right now in afternoon drive time, keep your hands on the wheel. Keep your hands on the wheel, because I know this is a lot. This is so cool. I mean, I'm so excited because I think particularly for young folks, people who might be thinking about their what's next in their life, in their career. People who are thinking about areas of study. in college or even just post high school, I think what you've done is you've planted a seed. You've really allowed folks to imagine possibilities beyond what so many of us thought was possible in the first place. And so, tell me, what would the little girl in you that never saw a life as an urban beekeeper, what would that little girl say to this adult woman warrior, who is creating products that are making people feel better, making people healthier, are making people sort of reimagine what's possible? When we come forward, I want you to answer that question for us. And we also want to learn more about your journey, because it's not every day, particularly right here on A More Perfect Union, where we get to talk to a real life urban beekeeper. And I'll even show you the bottle of honey that I am now ashamed to reveal to you and the world. More with Dior Luxe Queen Honeybee when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. President Trump is again targeting Black New York Attorney General Letitia James, claiming she committed real estate fraud years ago. Speaking from the Oval Office, he called the Department of Justice investigation into her justified.
It's major fraud, mortgage documents, and fraudulent everything.
James denied the accusations, calling them retaliation for her cases against Trump. 2 women have been arrested for helping inmates after a May 16th jail escape involving 10 Black men in New Orleans. Courtney Harris allegedly drove 2 men to multiple locations, while Quavante Baptiste brought food to one hiding in an abandoned home. And Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore has signed the $67 billion 2026 budget, closing a $3 billion deficit and turning it into a surplus. The plan includes over $2 billion in cuts and income tax reform, benefiting 94% of residents. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Long Beach, a crash on the 91 eastbound before the 710 landed in middle lanes. Delays away from Avalon Boulevard, staying on that 91 eastbound. The drive is just pretty tough overall as you continue in stretches to Green River. It's tough on the 71 southbound Chino Hills. Delays from Pine Avenue to the 91 freeway. And in La Cañada, this is the 210 westbound. Delays from Angeles Crest Highway. And you're slow, heavy in stretches all the way to Hubbard Street. Santa Clarita, 14 northbound, slowing down from the 5 all the way to Placerita Canyon Road.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The LA Sparks are back in action tonight at Phoenix. 3rd game for the Sparks in the WNBA regular season. Next home game for the Sparks is Friday night against Golden State at Crypto.com. The WNBA's popularity continues to rise. Saturday's Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game drew an average of 2.7 million viewers on ABC. That's the highest rating for a WNBA regular season game in 25 years. The game also generated the 2nd highest TV rating for a WNBA event in the league's 29-year history. The only event with a higher TV rating was the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, which attracted 3.4 million viewers. Congratulations to University of Houston men's basketball coach Kelvin Sampson, the only African-American coach to reach last season's Final Four. Houston gave Sampson a 4-year extension that will keep him under contract through 2029. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the flames subside, who ensures that the stories endure? At KBLA Talk 1580, we're committed to preserving the voices that shape our community. We know people have short memories, and as long as this Black Talk radio station is on the air, we will not let Altadena be forgotten. We are honored to announce that the Altadena Historical Society will officially archive our recent town hall alongside every episode of Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. This is the show of record, the definitive source for tracking Altadena's roots, resilience, recovery, and reunion. These stories will now live on for students, scholars, researchers, and journalists seeking truth and legacy in the months and years to come. Because history isn't just made, it's honored, it's recorded, and it's passed forward. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit CASMPvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me.
National news of consequence, informed opinion,
and analysis beyond the headlines.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
I like that.
Come on. MC.
This was just for you. I will never hear this song again the same after this conversation. And chances are, neither will any of our leaders, learners, and listeners. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and she is Dior Lux Queen Honeybee, and you're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. So, look, let me give myself up. I'm going to turn myself in, right? If you're like me, you have some honey in your cupboard, but after this conversation, I need to stop trying to recycle the plastic.
What did I do? Was that bottom?
All right. This is Nature Nate's.
All right.
This is Nature Nate's honey company honey right here. My brother friend Andy, also our sound engineer, is laughing because he said he got the same one. Yep, we both probably saw it on sale.
Oh my God, I'm glad to see y'all. So
it's 100% pure, raw, and unfiltered honey. For the people who are streaming on YouTube, you can see exactly what bottle I'm holding.
Right,
so this is the plastic one. This is the plastic one. But to redeem myself, I said, "Come on, let me find the glass one. Let me find the glass one." So I was actually traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got these in Tanzania.
Okay.
I was traveling, covered by the president, And I have the Highland Winter honey, a natural raw honey, and the Miambo honey, also a natural raw honey, both from Tanzania. And so
Yes,
this is the good honey. It's the fancy honey. This is, folks come over to the house. It's like, okay, hey guests, you can use this honey, right?
But you see how they say that they are pure and they're natural, right? I know a lot of people talk about this organic, but it's pure and natural. And now, if it comes from over there, it's organic grounds over there, right? Of course. And so that's really kind of a difference here in the States versus if you are by the ocean and the water. Those areas are pretty organic over there. So
I mean, and thank you for giving us language, because I never really thought about organic that way in terms of the ground, right?
Right.
I think of organic as the product is organic, meaning that there are no GMOs, no pesticides involved. But you're taking us to the next level. Say, wait a minute, also pay attention to the ground, to the soil.
Right. Because if you think about it, you have our bees that are pollinating the herbs and whatever vegetables that you're putting in the ground. And a lot of times we put chemicals and all those pesticides and everything that is killing off our bees. And so right now we're going through this time where the bees are dying. And we are losing our bees. But however, of course, they pollinate everything pretty much that we are eating and drinking and, all of these different things. They even pollinate cotton. So, and we sleep with that. So, I mean, it's just a lot of different things. So you have to think about what are we doing? And you can save the honeybees right in your own backyard, right? So like we have hives, and on this land we had bees here, right? We had underground, we had yellow jackets. On the side of the building, we had wasps. And then we have our wood bees, our carpenter bees, right? However, the yellow jackets never did come up above the ground to disturb the honeybees. You know why? Because I put cinnamon around the hives. I put peppermint oil around the hives. All of that doesn't harm the bees, the honeybees, the plants, things like that. So when you think about these things, you think about, okay, these are pollinators and they are helping grow our vegetables. I know I also work with hydroponics. So again, a lot of people say, oh, we can grow our vegetables on the inside. Some of those you can grow on the inside, but you more than likely will transport it to your garden outside, right? So just like you can grow ginger, you could grow it inside your house, and then you could transpose it and put it out in your yard, and it keeps growing because ginger grows big. So it's just so much you can do when it comes to saving the honeybees.
Did you ever fear bees? Were you ever afraid of bees?
So let me tell you something, a real story. I don't like insects, okay? Like I just don't like insects.
Wait a minute. The urban beekeeper is telling us that she doesn't like insects
and spiders and all of this. Right? Okay, come on, really. But bees, for whatever purpose, I wasn't. The only bees that I just really didn't like are like the wasps, because they can keep stinging. They don't die. Honeybees, once they sting you, they die, right? Their stinger does not last like this. Well, so, and then you got your yellow jackets. So those are the ones that people be like, oh, I'm allergic to bees. I'm allergic to honeybees. No. You're probably allergic to the wasp or the yellow jackets, those that really, or the ground bees, that sting you. But yeah, I know I am a true beekeeper. I just don't like those little ants. But then think about this. So in our hive, we have to make sure that there are no ants, no varroa mites that can weaken the hive, things of that nature, because it does have sugar, it does have honey, those natural sugars and honeys, and ants like sweet things, right? Sugar ants. So yeah, it's a process.
Well, so talk to us about what your younger self would say to your grown woman self at the moment.
So because when you're young, when I was young, I always dreamed of being somebody great, of doing something great in the community or wherever it was. And so my younger self now would say, keep going. You are such an amazing individual. Keep breaking those glass ceilings and creating legacies for our younger generation to come forth, right? Because again, being a woman in a male dominant industry as beekeeping, it does get tough because people, when I started, they'll say, oh, you'll never be a beekeeper. You don't even look like a beekeeper. Oh, you're not organic. And I'm like, so
You the flyest beekeeper I've ever seen.
Right. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, even when it came to being featured in Forbes magazine, I had a young lady, the lady tell me, oh, you shouldn't use that picture. You need to have on a lab coat and this, that, and other. And I politely said, I thank you for what you gave me, although it wasn't wanted. However, I am creating the buzz, which is why I chose this picture. And so everybody was like, I love the picture. I mean, it was amazing because, it was featured. But so I would just keep telling myself, keep going, keep striving, don't look back, don't listen to the no's. Those no's are stepping stones, and always continue to walk in your truth. So, yeah.
I mean, that what an incredible story, I want to ask you to stick with us just a little bit longer because I'm just so captivated by what you're sharing. And I also want to give you a chance to shed some light on the agribusiness, because I think there are a lot of folks out there that don't necessarily see the opportunities in farming, right? And we know that in our community, we have a long history when it comes to our connection to the land, our connection to farming. And so I want to give you a chance to offer your assessment on the state of the industry. And for folks who might be thinking about getting into farming, whether it's as a hobby or as a career change, I want to give you a chance to weigh in on that. I also want to give our leaders, learners, and listeners a chance to tap in and get some of this luxury honey. If you go to truthhoney.com, you can see all the fantastic products. I am blown away at just the bottling. I'm like, that's honey. I mean, they make Hennessy look like they need an update. Truthhoney.com. Check it out. You can also check them out on Instagram at the page of Truth Honey. That's the page of Truth Honey on Instagram, or on Facebook. Just go to Truth Honey and take a look at all the fabulous products that Dior Luxe Queen Honey Bee has curated for us. More with Dior when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least likely to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Imagine every pregnant person in LA County having the support they deserve. A doula on every block. Doulas provide emotional, physical, and informational support during pregnancy, through labor, and beyond. Medi-Cal now covers doula care. That means you can get the support you need or train to support families in your community. The LA County Medi-Cal Doula Hub is here to help. Learn more and get started today at ladoulahub.com.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming a More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation this hour with Dior Lux Queen Honeybee, founder of Truth Honey. And for those of you like my mom who is texting me, like, where can I go to get this? You could go to truthhoney.com. That's truthhoney.com. If you're on the gram, you can go to the page of Truth Honey, or Facebook, just type in Truth Honey, and it will take you straight to where you need to go. Really, so many beautiful products packaged so well. It makes for the perfect gift. And listen, the fact that there is like honey infused beard oil, I can only imagine how wonderful that smells. So if y'all see me out and about this summer with my honey beard oil, don't hate, participate. That's all I'm saying. In our remaining minutes with you, Dior, I want to give you an opportunity to offer our leaders, learners, and listeners a lay of the land. I don't think a lot of people are dialed in to the opportunities that exist in the industry of beekeeping and the agribusiness industry at large. School us on what opportunities you see that are ripe for the picking.
So agriculture is becoming a lot more critical because the state of where we are right now. If you think about when your grandparents were growing vegetables, like my grandfather, he had a whole acre of like cabbages and greens, and I'm thinking, why is he growing all of this, And so now that you think about it, it's like, okay, I understand why we need to invest in our health. And so what I'm seeing, because I do have a foundation where we deal with the 4-H program. We talk about getting into agriculture, getting into aerospace, getting into these areas that Black women are not necessarily in. And so it is amazing when I go into the schools and I'm seeing these young adults that really want to learn more about it. And it's so funny because when I talk to some of the seniors and I talk to some of the the 11th graders, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to know about honey, right?" And so then I don't want to be a beekeeper. So then all of a sudden, when I pull out bottles again, I'm gonna bring you another bottle.
What?
When I pull out my bottles, right, they be like, oh, "You a beekeeper?" And so then all of the questions and everything comes about like, okay, what can you do in agriculture? And because my background is branding and marketing and HR, of course, I always say, I started in the corporate world, but in my mind, I'm like, there is so much more value that I can bring to the table where I need to step outside of the box, and then get into this. Because again, way back, I wanted to do skincare. And so I would always use honey in my skincare products, like my honey scrub. And so I was like, okay, we need to do all things honey since we're going to open up a honey house that has our food that is made with our honey. Like this is something that we are opening up the doors for our younger generation, for our veterans, because when the veterans come and beekeep, it helps their PTSD. And so we are doing the Save the Honeybee campaign is hope for the highs that help save the community, the veterans, and our education for our young adults. So it is very, very critical. Like I say, you can start in your own backyard. You don't necessarily have to have acres of land, but you can start by growing plants and watering them, and let's say you see ants or whatever around the house or carpenter bees, you could rub it with peppermint oil. You could just do simple little things that will help the community. We don't want our bees to die off. That is like will kill our ecosystem, and they're critical. People don't know how critical they are until we have these type of conversations, especially when it comes to agriculture and sustainability.
Yeah, and speaking of sustainability, I mean, talk to us about, how climate change and how some of these severe weather events are taking place across the country, whether we're talking about the wildfires in LA or the Carolinas,
Yes,
or we're talking about tornadoes and
yes.
hurricanes. How are these severe weather events impacting the business of beekeeping and the agri business more broadly?
Yes, it's impacting it very, very, very much. I have some beekeeping associates where they were the tornado and the storm. It just flooded out their bees and their hives. And then I had one farmer. It was in the news where someone had poisoned the bees. So he went to his acre and there were bees just laid in the grass. And then the wildfires, of course, that's critically destroying the land, and it's bad. And so depending on what type of bee you have, depends on how hardy it is and how they can sustain. Because here in Georgia, we get all type of weather, and some of our bees are dying off because of the storms, or it gets hot, it gets cold. It rains over here, it's hot over there. It's just it's critical, and so if we can create something that can save all of our bees, hey, let's work together to do it. But climate control, it's hurting us. It's hurting our agriculture, our crops, everything. So
Well, we are certainly glad that even in light of some of the challenges that we're seeing in terms of environmental sustainability and some of the challenges we're seeing in our economy, that there are urban beekeepers like yourself
yeah.
that are blazing the trail. You have an incredible story. Now I can see exactly why, the the New York Times and Heart and Soul and, so many other outlets out there, Forbes, have been really captivated by you and captivated by your story. Again, I want to encourage our leaders, learners, and listeners to check out truthhoney.com. On Facebook, go to Dior Davis if you want to check out the diva herself, the beekeeping diva. I'm telling you, flyest beekeeper I've ever seen. and I'm standing on business right there. That's the flyest beekeeper I have ever seen. We learned so much this hour. I also want to encourage our leaders, learners, and listeners, if they're interested in the Social Entrepreneurship and Change graduate program at Pepperdine University, where I teach, if you use the code PATH2PURPOSE, PATH, the number 2 purpose, we're going to give you a $55 fee waiver for your application and enter you in for the chance to get a $10,000 scholarship for anybody who is looking to level up. They're looking to upskill, to get that graduate degree. Certainly, social entrepreneurship and the work that we just heard of from Dior Luxe Queen Honeybee go hand in hand. We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to the entire village helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, Andy, our show producers, Faraji, Kim, and Faraji, Kim, and we can't forget Art. And of course, each and every one of you. We curate this show every day with love. We hope you felt the love. Remember, do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and you've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.